Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We were just 2 days away from Tennessee taking on Chattanooga inside of Neyland Stadium. 2 more sleeps until it's football time in Tennessee. And I've been asking you guys throughout the course of the week, what are you excited about? What do you want to see on Saturday? I've heard everything from, I want to see a dominant defense. I've heard some of you guys with the coach speak saying, Boogie, we just got to stay healthy. We got to keep it basic. We got to stay vanilla, get out of there with a win, get out of there healthy, and move on to NC State. But I think one thing we can all be in agreement on, we are ready. We are excited. We want to see the Nico Iamaleava era. We want to see what this football team looks like with Nico at the helm. And yeah, we got a little taste of it. We got a little preview of it during the bowl game against Iowa, but you got to realize that was Joe's offense. That offense was dialed in for Joe. You had a few tweaks going into the bowl game, but for the most part, that offense looked kind of similar, and that brought up a lot of questions. People saying, Boogie, are you worried? Alex Golesh leaves, and now all of a sudden the offense falls off. We go from scoring 46 points a game and leading the country in scoring offense to having the worst season Josh Heupel has ever had offensively as a head coach, scoring 31.8 points per game a year ago with Joe Milton at quarterback. Now, a lot of the national perception, a lot of the national media, the way they look at this football team is Nico's young. Is a young quarterback ready to take over in 2024? We're going to listen to what Josh Heupel had to say on Vol Calls last night, but I can tell you, you're going to be happy. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it, but as always, I need you guys to do me a favor. Do that YouTube stuff for me. Just smash the thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy, and it helps the channel. Also, a lot of you guys are attacking the comment section. If you don't have a comment, you don't have a question, just put a GBO down there in the comment section. It helps the algorithm of YouTube, and we would appreciate it. If you're new here, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We're not reporters. We're not journalists. We don't pretend to be any of that. This channel is all about being a fan. It's for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Got another morning show tomorrow morning, Friday morning, 10 a.m. Me and Coach Jay going to get you guys geared up for the game on Saturday. And then on Saturday, we do a tailgate fan call-in show an hour before kickoff, take you all the way up to game time, and then we'll be live immediately following the game for the post-game show. But let's get into it. This is an article from 247 Sports. Heupel says the playbook is wide open for the Vols with Nico Iamaleava at the quarterback position. Says Josh Heupel says on Vol Calls that Tennessee's offense will maintain its DNA and inject subtle differences this season with Nico Iamaleava taking over at quarterback. Now, here's what I was kind of talking about earlier. It says after having 2 experienced transfers at the command of his offense the previous 3 seasons, Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel is turning things over to a young phenom at quarterback in Nico Iamaleava, who will make his second career start when the 15th ranked Vols host Chattanooga on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. Says he has no plans on deviating from the staples that make his offense unique, but with a new quarterback and a new supporting cast around him, there will be subtle differences, the head coach said Wednesday night on Vol Calls. Tennessee also won't be limited by its youth at quarterback, with Heupel saying the playbook is wide open for us with Iamaleava at the helm. And again, when you go back and you look at it, right, Tennessee a year ago, Josh Heupel's worst scoring offense in the history of him being a head coach, 31.8 points per game. But you look at what Joe Milton did. You look at Joe Milton's numbers. They really don't look that much different from Hendo Cinco's. He threw for over 2,800 yards, had 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, completed 65% of his passes. You go look at what Hendo Cinco did, 3,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and completed almost 70% of his passes. But regardless of stats, there's more to it, right? Stats don't always tell the entire story. And sometimes when we get on here in front of a camera and we talk every single day about Tennessee football, you can take statistics and numbers and twist them and manipulate them to tell whatever kind of story you really want to tell. But when you look at the offense from a year ago, we said it week after week after week. There's something going on. This offense is different. There is a lack of trust. They're not utilizing the middle of the field. They're not taking as many shots as we're used to seeing them take. What is it in the word that kept coming up was trust? There was a lack of trust in Josh Heupel. So it's easy to sit back and look and say, hey, man, you had a veteran in Hendon Hooker. You had a veteran in Joe Milton, and now you're going to a redshirt freshman in Nico. Are you going to dumb down the offense? But there's more to the story. I think Nico has a higher football IQ than Joe Milton has, and I think this coaching staff trusts Nico, and we're going to see a little bit more of what this offense should be and can be when you have an elite quarterback leading the way. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think when it's all said and done, I think this offense in 2024 is going to be better than the offense was in 2022. I think you've got more depth at the wide receiver position. I think Nico, when it's all said and done, is going to go down in history as being a better quarterback than both Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker. Now, some people don't like that. They think it's disrespectful. I think that's just what I believe. And like Coach Jay likes to say all the time on this channel, it's now up to Nico to go out there and prove it on the grass, prove it in the SEC. But I think you're going to see what this offense is truly meant to be. But you can see there in the article, it talks about the guys around Nico, right? And that's not just on offense, that's also on the defensive side of the ball. And we broke down the entire depth chart last night on Talkin VAWLS Live. If you missed it, go back and give it a watch. This defense is going to be dangerous. We know how good that defensive line is. We've heard Tim Banks call it the best defensive line in the country. We've heard Greg McElroy on his show go out there and say that Tennessee could potentially have the best defense in the SEC. So you surround Nico Iamaleava with weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but also the defensive side of the ball, and I think you are set up for something special in 2024. Now let's go down and take a look at a couple of the quotes, couple of the comments from Josh Heupel on Vol Calls last night. He says here, in the overall grand scheme, how we play tempo, RPO game, don't see a ton of difference. Heupel said during his Vol Calls his weekly Wednesday night radio show, there's going to be subtleties in what we do, what they're comfortable with, their skill set, and that's with the quarterback, and then it will be different with the guys around him, and that's the fun thing for coaches and for players because suddenly things change from year to year. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. How many times have we had coaches come into the University of Tennessee and they talk about getting the ball to playmakers in space, they talk about utilizing their personnel. Jeremy Pruitt wanted to go out there and run an Alabama-style offense, and it didn't work with the talent that he had. Josh Heupel takes advantage of the guys that he has. And, yeah, we were complaining and we were arguing. We said, this is ridiculous. This offense is dumbed down. He didn't give Joe Milton too much. Joe Milton was his guy. Joe Milton is who he elected to be the starter at the University of Tennessee, and he tried to create the playbook. He tried to run the offense so that Joe Milton could go out and be successful. Does that mean you got to dumb it down a little bit? Maybe it does, but Josh Heupel utilizes the guys that he has. He utilizes his personnel. Goes on to say Nico's got great command of what we're doing, sees the field extremely well, can push it vertically, extremely accurate over the middle of the football field. I think that's a key. I think this statement right here, extremely accurate over the middle of the football field. They did not trust Joe Milton to do that. They just didn't trust him. They didn't trust him. And to see there that Nico's extremely accurate over the middle of the field. We've seen all the clips from spring camp, from fall camp, utilizing the tight ends over the middle of the field. Just going to continue to open this offense up and let Nico go cook. Says here, anticipates windows extremely well. Feel like with his skill set, the playbook is wide open for us. So I think we are about to truly see what this offense can be in 2024. He goes on to say they're exposed to control so much of the game, being a part of the run game at times, obviously getting your eyes and body in the right position to be accurate, make the right decision with the throw, but they control a bunch of our run game. They control our protections. You know, we talked about last night the importance of Cooper Mays and Cooper Mays being able to help Nico with that communication and the protections. But then also it mentions the run game. Nico opens up this offense, particularly in the red zone. All it takes is one pull, him keeping it, and we saw it against Iowa. He ran for 3 touchdowns in the red zone. How much more does that open up this offense? Then, oh, by the way, you guys got guys like Ethan Davis at tight end. You've got guys like Holden Stace, and then you got Chris Brazell, who people are calling a cheat code in the red zone. Throw it up. He's going to go get it. We've seen the clips. We saw Willie Martinez in a panic because his DBs have to go out and cover a guy like Chris Brazell every single day in practice. Goes on to say they've got to be the guy that's in complete command of everything that's going on and then do that with the tempo, which we feel like creates an advantage. It's an advantage as long as all 11 guys, but in particular, the quarterback are operating really efficiently and effectively with that. He goes on to say, first of all, Nico's got to play extremely well. As a young quarterback, it's important that the 10 other guys around him play at a really high level as well. Every game unfolds differently. If you played the same 10 different times on the same day, the game's going to unfold differently because there's so many variables within this game. I expect him to do a great job of handling everything at the line of scrimmage, communication, understanding the call versus the structure that we're seeing, making great decisions, get us into the right play when it's not a sound play, and go make plays. The great thing about having quarterbacks is we recruit to a skill set, being able to be an accurate passer, enough arm to spread the field, the ability to move inside the pocket, but they're a little bit like an artist. Each of them have their own little touch on the game. I'm excited to go play with him and watch him grow as a quarterback this year. Those were Josh Heupel's comments on Nico Iamaleava. Yeah, he's a redshirt freshman, but when you go back and look, he arrived early. He was an early enrollee, and also Tennessee was going bowling that year. So he arrived on campus, started going through practices in December. By the time he walks out there on Saturday, it's going to be close to 2 years that Nico has been a part of this football team, digging into the playbook, learning what this thing's all about. So I feel very confident that we're going to see just a little taste of what Nico brings to the table. I'm going to ask Coach Jay tomorrow. I got a nice little quote from J.D. Pickell, and we're going to get into it. And we're going to talk about how quick it takes Nico to get up to speed. So tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. for Talkin VAWLS Live, the morning show. Grab a cup of coffee, and we're going to hammer Coach Jay and talk a little bit about Nico Iamaleava. But that is going to do it for this one. Make sure you guys smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. You can go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. And thank you to the members of the channel. Wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. If you like the content, the videos, the live streams, the community, whatever it is you like about this channel, think about hitting that join button. You can do so for as little as $1 per month. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.